What up, y'all? It's D-Line here, man. Today we're going to talk about this last weekend worth of games. It's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Tua might not be the future of the quarterback situation from the Dolphins. C.J. Stroud being dominant. Jordan Love being dominant. Green Bay finding their third QB in a row. Like, that's crazy. Jared Goff putting on a masterclass. And Stafford. That was a good game, but man, we're going to get into it. Let's go. First thing we're going to talk about, man, the Rams and Lions. In my opinion, the best game of the weekend. Best offense, great defense in the second half, and they really lit it up in the first half. To be honest, the only reason the Rams honestly lost because they couldn't score in the red zone. It was 0-3 in the red zone. Every single time they'll go up and down the field. Puka, Dot, Matthew Stafford, Dot. They got the run game established in the second half, but they could not finish. Every single drive, they could not finish. The Lions started their possessions 3 for 3. All touchdowns. That's really set the tone. They went 75 yards on all 3 touchdowns. It was a really good showing from Jared Goff. Jared Goff went 22 for 27, 277 yards. The run game did good with over 100 rushing yards. Amon St. Brown did great. I really want to talk about Stafford and Puka. It's going to be a real dangerous combo if they continue on with Stafford. If he, keep on playing for the next few years. Puka broke the rookie receiving yards record, first game for playoffs. Stafford threw for almost 400, 367 with 2 TDs. Puka had 181 yards. They established the run game in the second half. I really think they should have did it more in the first half, especially as the red zone came in. They just passed way too much in the red zone. It's that simple. They passed way too much. It was getting way too predictable. They like Puka for the deep intermediate routes, but in red zone it really goes to Cooper Kupp, and it's just becoming way too predictable. And then they waited to run the ball to the second half. You can't really do that. But it was really a physical game. Like, they was destroying. The Lions was destroying the Rams receivers and tight end. They were just destroying. They let them. To be honest, I really like that referee crew. They really let them play through a lot of things, and that's what I like. I like when the refs let the people play. It might be an outrage. It was supposed to be a PI on this play, PI on this play. Let them play. A little grab. It's going to affect, but it's football. You're not going to just let somebody run straight past you, just not touch them. So I really liked the refs today. And it was a physical game. It was an exciting game. That was the best games of the weekend. In a close game, the Rams end up losing to the Lions 23-24. Man, the Texans and the Browns, man. And the Browns coming in is probably the best defense in the league. I'm not going to lie, I did expect the Browns to win, especially how Flacco's been playing. Flacco been having an insanity run, but it looked like it's finally over. But, man, I really did think the Browns were going to win. I expect to see Stroud to do good, but I didn't expect them to just laser the Browns defense up and down the field the whole day. Like, he literally did not make a single mistake. Joe Flacco just made way too many mistakes, to be honest. It's okay if it was a defensive heavy game, but it was just literally defense on one side, other side just elite offense. And to be honest, the Texans really looking underrated right now. Their defense really stepped up. They had them just 14 points with under 60 rushing yards, man. That up-and-coming defense with Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, just a real young defense. And to be honest, as they first few years, they doing real good. With they building blocks with Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, Larry Tunsil, of course, C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins. And the Texans, they can be a dark horse now, because I might be crazy. I know this is going to be a crazy take, but I honestly I don't really see the Ravens, to be honest, going far. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl simply because Lamar haven't been a real postseason performer so far in his career. Now, I could be wrong, and soon as he perform well in the postseason, I really cannot say nothing about him. But I honestly just don't like how he's been performing for these last few years. He only got one win, haven't looked good in all the wins. He 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in his postseason career. He just haven't been looking good. So, man, don't be surprised if the Texans, even if they don't win, they'll put up a fight. But, it's really not much to talk about that game. It's, real dominant performance of C.J. Stroud, dominant performance by the Texans defense. Just overall great performance by Texas, man. End up destroying the Browns 45-14. And next we're going to talk about, man, this Kansas City and Miami game. Me personally, I do have Kansas City going to the Super Bowl. Their defense looks really elite right now. They held Tua to only 7 points. Tyreek Hill to only 7 points. Now, elite offense, only 7 points. But I think it's time to have a discussion about Tua. I don't know if he's the future for the Dolphins. I'm sorry. It just really looked like he had been the only liability when it comes to that team. I know it was cold outside. He plays in Miami, used to hot weather, but there was no excuse for him to look that bad and that soft. He looked horrible. Going for only 200 yards with a pick, it really just did not look good, especially in that explosive offense. And to be honest, they don't ask him to do much. Like, it was literally one ball this game, which had happened a lot. I don't even know why I'm saying one ball like it haven't happened majority of the season. But most of his plays, big plays, are made from him underthrowing Tyreek Hill, and they're catching up. The DB catching up so fast because he already got 2-3 steps ahead of him. They're not looking at the ball. They're just trying to play out of phase, catch up defense. He stops, come back, catch it, run for a touchdown. That's not Tua being elite. That's Tyreek being elite. But I don't know if they can keep him, but I really don't know what other options they have. Like, they could get Kirk out the draft. I mean, not Kirk out the draft. Kirk out of free agency, but you don't know if he's going to be all the way healthy. You could draft a QB, but you want to have a premier pick. They're projected to have the 24th pick of the draft for first round. So, you can always trade up, but then you're going to be having to give away some of your assets. It's just a real difficult situation. And with Tua, it's like you have not been playing horrible to the point where you can replace him and just no backlash. It's just the point that team could be so much better with a better quarterback. He's weighing them down from what they should be, which is a Super Bowl contender. They're not a Super Bowl contender with Tua right now. As much as the roster is, as much as that offense is stacked, as much as the head coach is great, they're not a Super Bowl contender, and they will not be with Tua as a quarterback. But man, the Chiefs have been winning 26-7. Speaking of quarterback play, the final game we're gonna talk about, man, Green Bay and the Cowboys. And man, I'm not gonna lie, this might be looking rough for Dak too. I don't feel like they will move on from Dak, in my opinion. I do feel like everybody, I wouldn't say overreacting, because that was a horrible performance. As much as the stats say it was a good performance, that was a horrible performance. I watched that whole game. That was as much stat patterns as I've ever seen. By the first half, he barely even had 100 yards. Like, that was a bad performance. But I don't feel like they're gonna move on from that, because there's not a lot of options they can go. And plus, Dak have, as much as he's not winning in the postseason, but he's winning. Like, they haven't had a lot of losing seasons with Dak. They had one real season without Dak, and they did horrible. So I don't feel like they will move on. But man, we're gonna talk about Jordan Love. Like, it's really crazy how they hit on Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love. I feel like teams really need to realize that coming in as a rookie, first year, throwing them into the fire, it's not going to work. They did the same exact recipe all 3 times for their quarterback. That's why all 3 of them are hitting. And let them sit, let them learn, let them, realize where they really are, what they're trying to be. Now, Jordan Love is looking like Aaron Rodgers 2.0. He's making great reads, great throws. Man, he's just looking real great out there. And he leading the young offense. That offense is real young, especially with Batari probably leaving next year. They're just going to get younger and younger, and they're going to grow with Love. They're going to grow with Love. And all of a sudden, NFC North, I came in, I'm thinking it was kind of going to be like, one of the worst divisions in football. Now, suddenly they got the brightest future with them. The Lions, the Bears, potentially, if, they get their quarterback situation figured out, if they have already figured it out. And then the Vikings, you can't count on them. They still got maybe the best receiver in football. So NFC North looking dangerous, man. Jordan Love looking dangerous. It's crazy. The Packers end up winning 48-32. Next, we're going to talk about, man, the Buffalo Bills and the Steelers now. I ain't going to lie to you. I didn't have no hope in the Steelers. I don't feel like they had a chance at all. Josh Allen, but I really have been liking Josh Allen recently. Like, he's been, not even just Josh Allen, but the Bills offense in general. They haven't just been playing hero ball with Allen as much as they did in the regular season. They've been running the ball on the center a lot more, which I really like. Majority of their runs, and in the first 6 weeks of the season, 5 weeks of the season, was strictly off shotgun inside zones. same problem the Eagles having right now. But they've been playing a lot more or less hero ball. Josh Allen and the Bills, they've been calming down. They haven't been going deep 4-5 times a drive. They've been calming down, taking what the defense give them, running the ball well. Josh Allen had 0 turnovers, 3 TDs, had the efficient night. They rushed for over 130 yards, 140 yards. They just played real good football, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really like the Bills, but next week they go against the Chiefs, and I do have the Chiefs beating them. But it's gonna be a close game. Bills, Josh Allen and Mahomes, they gonna be going at it. They've been going at it for about 4 or 5 years. They can keep on going at it for years to come. But yeah, the Bills won 31-17. Predictable. It was dominant win, Steelers might need to blow it up. I don't know what the Steelers gonna do, to be honest. I don't even know how they're in this situation with probably the worst quarterback room of maybe ever. This has got to be the worst quarterback room that made the playoffs. This is not a 10-win football team at all. But they got a lot of stuff figured out back there in Pittsburgh, man. Last game of the weekend, probably I wouldn't say the craziest game, but man, the Eagles are in trouble. The Eagles versus the Bucks. I did think the Bucks. I thought it was going to be a competitive game. I did not count the Bucks out, but I didn't think they were just going to blow them out completely. I thought if the Bucks win, it was going to be maybe about 7 points, 4.5 points, something like that. But the Eagles look bad. They got a lot of changes to come up, and it's not even just their offense and defense. It's a mixture of both. Head coaching, offense, defense, QB, man, they scheme. Their scheme is just not a good scheme. That's not NFL football. You can't run inside zone, tush push, inside zone. Throw it deep to A.J. Brown. You can't throw a slant to A.J. Brown. You just cannot do that. They're way too predictable on offense. And they just don't help Hurts at all. They don't help. I don't like Hurts as a quarterback. I'm not going to lie to you. I really never seen a real big hype about him. But the system he in isn't really helping to, actually help him succeed. You don't put your QB under center at all. You make him run off shotgun 24/7. The RPO-based offense is just not working for him. That's just not the QB. That's not going to work. I'm not going to say it's not going to work for any QB, but it's just making your quarterback's life way harder than it really has to be. And I really do feel like they're going to move on from the Eagles head coach, man. I ain't going to lie to you. I really do feel like that was a bad way to end the season. For the last 7 weeks, just L after L after L after L. It was just a real bad way to end. For the first round knockout to the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. I'm not meaning saying Baker Mayfield like that because he had been showing up. He definitely earned himself a contract. But this team just went to the Super Bowl last season. They just beat 49ers. They just beat all these teams and went to the Super Bowl last season. It should not be a first-round exit at all. That's not their expectations. They came into the beginning of the season 10-1. They should not have, lost in the first round. If Baker and the Bucks, they flowers. Baker threw for 340 yards, 3 TDs, an efficient night. They ran the ball well. They did not look like no team, that was just going to be pushed around like the Steelers. They looked good. They looked like a playoff team. They go against the Lions next week. The Lions and the Buccaneers is going to be a good game. You cannot count the Buccaneers out. Personally, the Lions, I honestly do. I might take the Buccaneers on this one simply because the Lions' defense is very bad. The Rams should have won that game. They didn't get it done in the red zone at all. They asked for red zone trip. They were just failing. It was walking them down through the whole game, really. They just didn't convert. Buccaneers, I feel like they got the opportunity to do the same thing, but they run a game a little bit better than the Rams. I feel like they can definitely upset the Lions if you would consider this an upset. But, Buccaneers win in a dominant fashion, 32-9. I wouldn't even say dominant. It's really just an Eagles shutdown. They looked good, of course, but it's different between just pure domination and just bad football. The Eagles did not play good football. They played bad football. I'm going to see y'all next week, man. I'm out.